Hey guys, this is Daniel Kräuter, and today I want to talk about dust particles as well as a bit of volumetric lighting in Blender. Before I start with the Blender scene, I very quick want to tell you something about the picture you can see right now. On one hand, it's a very good example for what we're going to learn in this video. So you can see here the dust particles and also the volumetric lighting, which we're going to create in this video. But also tell you very quick where this picture comes from. It's one of our test renders or almost finished renders of the short movie project that a really great team of about 15 artists and I are working on right now. The project is called Luke's Escape, and if you're interested in it and want to see more of it, you can find everything about it on lukesescape.com. So yeah, just have a look at this, and we have lots of updates here. You can see other scenes as well. Yeah, but we'll just start with the dust particles now. So I'll have to do it very fast though, because the video would be really long if I wouldn't. So the first thing we have to do is to create the particles themselves. I'm using the cycles engine for that, for the reason that it works quite fast, and also the depth of field, which is very important for the particles, looks really good with cycles. So this will be just the particles for now. So I will create a cube and then scale it a bit up maybe, and you can think of it as kind of a domain or so. So just inside of this there will be particles, and not really outside. So that's kind of the container for all the particles. It should be about the size of your scene. Then go here to particle settings and create a new particle system. Make sure to have the start and the end value set to 1, so all the particles will be created at the first frame. And make sure to have it set to volume and render or something, so the particles are inside of that volume. Then also, because if you play an animation now, it's just falling down and doing some strange stuff. So set the normal value to 0, so there won't be some acceleration at the beginning of the particles, and also go to field weights and set the gravity to 0. So now they shouldn't move at all. As you can see now, I'm playing the animation and it's not moving. We can also set the timeline to something higher, just so they won't disappear after a while. So just set it to the same amount as the animation is long. And yeah, the next thing to do is, because you might want to have animations in it, so you can also add some Brownian force that will just give it a random movement, and to make sure they won't just accelerate and get faster and faster, you can also use a bit of a damp and try to get the right balance between those two values. This will make it faster, this will damp the movement. So yeah, just play around with that, and that should give you quite good results for the movement of particles, dust particles. Then create an icosphere, which will be the an object that will replace all the particles. So just go back to after creating this sphere, go back to the particle system to render. It should be somewhere here. The render tab, check off emitter, so the emitter won't render, and set this one to object. And here select as a double object the icosphere. You can see already the particle system uses already this object as the particle shape, but also make sure to change the size until it fits your scene's measurements and everything. And also you can use a random value if you want them to be in a bit randomized size, the particles. Alright, and next I'll just create the camera and bring it to somewhere here and do a first render test. Yeah, so I'll stop the animation. And yeah, we'll just have to do a light setup very quick first. So add a plane, put it behind the camera, and just make a light source from behind the camera, a very bright one. So add a material to it, an emission material, and set this value to 10 or something. Okay, Oh, sorry, I wanted to click on emission instead of that, and strength should be something high. Also make sure to set the background color to black, because we're going to use the random image from this layer and we'll composite it into the actual scene with the node editor. So we'll just use the add color mix node and everything. So you'll just see later on why this is important, but just make sure to have the background black and the particles white, kind of. Then select the camera and set the aperture value to something like 0.2, and it will turn black at that point. That's because the distance of the focal point is not set yet, so you just have to move that around. And to see where that focal point actually is right now, you can go to shaded mode and click on limits to see where it is, and then just move it to somewhere this focal point where your actions are happening. Then start the render again, and we can see already how it looks. I'm going to use 6 blades though to get these nice shaped bokeh things. And let's also just make it a bit brighter, the light source. Yeah, alright, I think that looks good for now. And yeah, with that done, just make sure to set the samples to about 100. I tried out and 100 looks quite good and works more or less fast as well, so that should be fine like that. And next we just have to do the next step, so it will be the halo spot, the volumetric lighting. For that we'll actually need to have kind of a test scene or so, like just the floor and a wall with a window in it or something, and I'll just go ahead and create that very quick. But before that, just make sure to do one thing. Go here to click on the plus sign and then create a new scene. Alright, and in here just we need to have our scene. Alright, okay, so I got now a brown plane and the wall or something like that, and oh sorry, yeah, and now we'll just create the halo spot very quick. I'm just going to, we have 2 scenes now, by the way. I'm going to call the scene we had before here dust, for dust particles or something, and this scene just scene, or actually halo, because this is going to be our volumetric light halo spot. Okay, just one more thing, go back to the dust scene and link this camera to the other scene with Control L, and then objects to scene, and then click on halo. This will create a linked copy of the camera in here. The only thing we need to do though is to create a, or actually just leave it as is. It's okay, just forget what I said. Yeah, next let's look at this view. Yeah, and it looks alright and everything is at the right position, so you can go ahead and create a spot lamp, this one here, and put it somewhere behind this wall and make sure to direct it through that window here. Next we need to go to the lamp settings and make sure that distance is enough so we can see the halo spot, because you have to always keep in mind that the halo will only show up within this triangle. So the distance needs to be longer than that, because it will fade away here, and in this area you won't really be able to see the halo, just in this part. So make sure to have it longer than the scene. And also the clip end, the light should go up to here somewhere. And also we don't need such a large spot, we can just make the radius smaller, or yeah, this angle, something like that. It should just fill the whole window like that. Yeah, alright, and once we have that, we can activate the halo and set the steps to 16, which or 12 I think is the maximum. Yeah, to the maximum value. This will just give us those kind of collisions with objects and volumetric shadows. I always set that to the highest one just in case I have more details in here, but you can just play around with it. I guess the rendering will work slower if you set it too high, but I don't really have a problem with speed or something when I set it to maximum value, so I'm just using that. And the intensity, I'll set it to 0.2, and then I'll try to render it. Yeah, and for now it looks good. We'll just have to do some more things. On the one hand, set the black background color to black, and also go to the render settings, to layers, and just deselect everything accepted by Hallo. So what's left here is just the Hallo itself and nothing else. Also, you'll notice now that the quality of this isn't really perfect. Could be much better. And to make it better, what I normally do is I just duplicate this lamp with Alt-D, not Shift-D. I just want to have an instant copy of that. And depending on how far I move them to the side or not, I can also control now how kind of soft the volumetric light should be. But just make a couple of copies of that, and with Alt-D, and just move them around just a little bit and give them some variations in their rotations and things like that. And yeah, something like that. And select all those, and copy them again and move them a bit like that, and then select one of them. Now the great thing about copying objects with Alt-D is that all of those are instant copies now. So if I change the energy here to 0.2, all the energy values are set to 0.2. Then if you render it, you should get a more or less smooth halo spot. And if this is still too hard of steps, what you can do to fix that is just select one of these lamps, go to proportional editing, random, fall off, and then move them around a bit more, give them a bit more variations, and then it should be better than before. Yeah, but that's already alright because the spot won't be so visible in the final result anyways. It's just something we'll blend over. Okay, now the last thing we need to do now is to create one more scene with just the scene itself being rendered in there. So what you can do now is just create a new scene. We'll just leave the name at scene, go back to the Hallo scene and link this to yeah, the scene called scene with, again, Control L, and then linked copy to scene. And now in scene there's just this one. We also want to link the camera in as well. So we have here now the camera and the scene, and I'm going to use combined occlusion here to do the lightning very quick because I don't want to spend too much time on that. I'm going to make the background black though, so make sure that we won't have problems with that, and I'll set the factor of combined occlusion to 0.2 or something like that. Okay, so maybe even less than that. Really just a very slight, yeah, that's okay. And everything else now will be done in the node editor. So inside of the scene, go to the compositing layout, and in here in the UV editor or image editor actually, click on render result to see the result of rendering, which doesn't really show up right now. Just click on render. Oh yeah, sorry. It's only it sometimes happens that it changes the scene for some reason. That happens, just make sure to go back to the scene you're actually working on, and in here you can work on. So we actually want to work now in the scene, and in here go to the node editor and click on use nodes. And yeah, what we have to do here is basically creating some copies, 2 copies of that first node render layers, which is more or less the input or output of those individual scenes. So in here we'll select the scene output, so the image of the render of the scene. here the dust particle output, and here the halo spot output. So we have now those 3 renders from all those individual scenes, and they will also automatically be rendered within just this one scene when we click on render, because we're using them in the node editor. Create a color ramp here and a mix node. And first of all, let's change a bit of the halo spot. And what I'm going to do here is just on the one hand invert it, and also make it something like this, so we just have the spot in black. Alright, then put this one in between and make sure to put this into the second input and this into the first input, and then set it to subtract. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because I want the particles outside of this spot to be less visible than the ones inside. So we'll use a value here of 0. Let's see what works for us. 0.05 maybe, maybe even a bit less, 0.04. Yeah, but I think that's fine now. And after that, create another mix node, and first of all mix together the halo and these particles, and you will want to add them together. But make sure to set the add value to something lower than that, because with this you can now control the amount of how much the halo should show up, and then create another mix node and just add those particles to the scene, which doesn't really work probably right now. Let's see what's wrong. Yeah, we might want to set those to clamp just to make sure that those values are not higher than what we want. And okay, this doesn't really look amazing yet, so what we just want to maybe tweak some of these settings now. So on one hand, I think those particles are way too bright to begin with, so what we'll do to fix that is just go into this part in here, add a mix node connected with this and with this, select here a black color, and then mix it with the right amount, with the right factor, which will be something like that maybe. Okay, and then also I'm going to change a bit, use a bit even less bind occlusion lightning on the actual scene here, and we're quick re-render that one like that, so that way this will show up more like a spot. And maybe, yeah, there's one last thing though we totally forgot to do. We need to have a halo spot in here as well. Yeah, so I'll just go back to the halo scene, select one of the lamps and link it to with Control L, link it to the scene. Then I'll go back to the scene and create a new spot, and just try to put into approximately the same position of that spot. Alright, something like that. But that's fine already, like that. And then you can delete that other spot again, the one we linked in. Then again, make sure to have the clip end and distance and everything fitting the scene, and also the radius, the size of the spot shape. And this time we want ray shadows, and let's see how that looks like. Just re-render that scene. Yeah, so this way we'll have now this kind of spot thing on the floor. We can also make it a bit blurrier, those edges of the shadows, by using more samples here and some soft size value of 2 maybe. Oh, damn it. I just want to re-render that one. It will take too long though, if I render everything. Alright then, and that's about it, I think. Let's see what else there is. Yeah, that's the way how we used dust particles and everything for our short movie. And I can also show you one more example of how this could look like, this technique. So this here is also an example for how this technique could look like. It just took me a bit longer to work on that one, so I couldn't really do it really in detail everything in this video. But this shows kind of the potential of this technique, and also the image you saw before. I think the main problem with it right now is the size of the particles. Let's try to very quick fix that. Go back to the dust particles, and what I'll do is just change the size of the container, make it smaller, and put a bit far away from the camera. So we just have to make sure it fills up the whole scene though. Basically so that the depth of field won't make those so extremely large, and also I'll make the lamp not so bright. And let's have a look real quick at how that looks. Also, I might want to make those particles even smaller a bit in the particle settings. So I'll make them 0.01 maybe. You can barely see them now. Yeah, but I think that's much better now, because we still have those dust particles out of focus and those in focus. So if you want now to render that again and integrate in the scene, go to the scene and just click here, and I want to re-render just the particles, and then you'll just have to wait until it's done. Okay, so this is how it looks right now. We again have to change a few things here. Yeah, for example, we don't need to yeah, make them less brighter here, that point, and also we don't need to subtract so much of it. Yeah, and also I think I overdid it a bit with decreasing the size. So let's go back and set the size again to 0.02 and re-render that scene again. Alright, and now with a bit of all things, we're getting already quite close to what you saw in those demonstration images. So I suggest you just to play around with these things. It's definitely a good technique to create those particles as well. When you do animations, this will really give you a great effect, because they're moving in a very nice way and have a really great behavior of movement and everything. So you can use that in your scenes and just implement them somewhere. Also play around with the amount of particles and things like that. Yeah, and I think that's all there is to say for now. So as always, I hope you enjoyed listening to this tutorial, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye.